what are we still looking for as far as equipment goes? Because we have, if you had a moment to go and check out our fitness center, unbelievable what it looks like with new equipment. Truly amazing accomplishment to have that done.
It's too good because people see it. Ooh.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of funds. And
Yeah, right. I said, well, it's donated. I said it was
They've sold the other fire
outside
equipment.
sources, yeah.
So they had an offer to purchase the equipment directly from the people delivering the new stuff. We didn't think it was very competitive, so we went on, put it out there. And we brought in revenue that was above and beyond what that was. So it's been out on the government site and you name it. So we've got fire department buying some equipment. So it's all very positive. So we brought in some good revenue from that too. And they're gonna have to keep fundraising them because that was not supposed to be a board purchase. So you approved it, but under the contingency that they're fundraising and raising money.
I think I saw a trailer with something on it at the fire department.
Yeah,
Did they
it's
pick it up
probably,
already?
it's probably us, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's picked up when it comes to that.
Scott, when it comes to those naming, they have, I don't know who runs it, through the fine arts or whatever, gold package, silver package, where you can actually buy the seat that you want
Neat.
for the entire season.
Yeah.
And it also gives you a seat that in the shower center, you have to pay for it separately, but it reserves you a seat for a show, I
See,
think,
that's-
something like that.
Right.
But that's already in
Right.
the works.
That's a great idea.
At the,
And it's renewed every year.
Sure.
right.
Good. So all that's being put together now. So we did engage
Yeah,
the
don't forget
physical
about that.
education program.
I like
We
the board
engaged.
seats when they had them in the back.
Yeah, you better pay. So, you can only take, you can't take more than $25, So we engaged in the dialogue, the fine arts program, the performing arts program, the ag program, the tech ed program, and the call it life fitness and athletics. So those are the areas where there's capital needs and opportunities where you typically see people rally together to help support. And the conversation that just started is about the potential of creating a foundation and everything being run through a foundation. But that's not something that you would see the superintendent leading the charge of. That is a volunteer group coming together to establish a foundation. So we just started having the conversations, and there's could be some very positive outcomes from that. So just when that occurs, I talked to somebody who created a foundation, and all purchases, they're considered gifts, it all comes to the board. So it's a back and forth relationship with the board. Those kind of groups don't get to go rogue, right? They have to work with the Board of Education to help put together a vision on what all of this looks like. So, but I thought it all seemed really like a great idea to me. So that was a very large, just started the conversation, tip of the iceberg, way more to come.
All right, thank you. Any possible future action items? Any unfinished business? New business, we have resolution 1819174, approval of resignation due to retirement for Louise Ransom at the high school. So moved. Motion by Joe, seconded by
Second.
Dave. So Louise has been with us 29 years.
To me, these retirements are very exciting. So everyone's retiring and doing well, and looking forward to that next stage, and with plenty of plans, and they're leaving with good memories. I mean, when you see the letters, it's a thing. They really appreciate their time here. They're looking forward to retirement, but they will miss their coworkers and kids.
So we wish Louise all the best. Any questions on this resignation due to retirement? Joe?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819175, approval of resignation due to retirement for Pat Laced.
So moved.
Motion by Dick, seconded by Norm. another long time,
Yeah.
34 years.
34 years.
So I'm not familiar, she talks about her dad.
Yeah.
Phil Collins, yeah, he's a basketball coach, Phi teacher. He's my Phi teacher.
Heart attack,
Yeah.
young.
Before he could retire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
mowing lawn,
And he was-
heart attack.
really.
He was my coach when I was in school. Yeah, we were in school back then.
So we wish Pat all the best too. Any questions on this resignation due to retirement? Dick?
Aye.
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 Plan on the tee up this fall.
So, yeah, we'll have an end of the school year event. It'll be on the 10th, June 10th, that Monday.
And one more resignation. Resolution 1819176, approval of resignation due to retirement, Paul Kruger.
So moved.
Motion by Norm, second. Second by Jim. Well, Paula hasn't been with us a long time,
Yep, correct.
but
6 years. But 30 years in education.
yes.
Yeah.
She was at Horicon, wasn't she,
Yeah.
before she came here
Yeah,
to us?
right.
So each one of the teachers has based upon your years of service, a different retirement benefit. So with limited, this is considered limited years, so they're really there may be no retirement benefit for this position based upon that. The other two do have that, so.
Just her,
the
her
HR
state,
The state.
just her state.
Yeah, the state, yeah, correct. This one would just have the state retirement plan, which is great.
Yep. We wish Paula all the best too with Todd. Any questions on this approval of resignation due to retirement? Nor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried, 7-0.
Didn't you know if Todd is retired?
Yeah, right. I was thinking she may do the same, right?
Yeah.
They're both back here.
All three positions do need to be filled, just so you guys know. And I would say, we're posting, we may have already posted the math position. Nope, so all that's coming. So posting for the math position, we're actually like creating a recruiting promo too, based upon, we've got some time here. So just like a actual recruiting promo to send out to universities. Hopefully they'll share that. The speech position is probably the hard to find one. Actually, all of them, based upon what's happened in education, just like elementary positions there are many people apply for those. But music, the pool's definitely considerably thinner than what it once was, and that is a full-time position that's needed. The math teacher, a lot of people with math certification, we've actually had to hire people with late notice. We've had to hire people with emergency licenses for math since I've been here even. So I'm glad that we have an opportunity to post for that now, okay? And then speech, very difficult to fill, extremely difficult. So there's been discussion just about compensation that goes along with that one, like, you know, if they have no years of service, but they're a speech teacher with a master's, what's the compensation for that? Stay tuned, is the deal. So, and that's just how it goes. So it's an open market for some of these, specifically speech, but I just want to share that with you now. And what happened to the link for the,
This ain't closed down.
somebody,
I could go.
somebody deleted the link.
It's fine.
It's in the,
Oh, you know what, I
Yeah.
did I
Didn't close
not?
it.
No, it was there.
It was there
It was
earlier.
there.
It's a $10,000 gift to support.
Yeah.
I can speak to it, but
Okay,
somebody
well,
deleted it.
You could get in here and change whatever you want.
Oh, I
really.
didn't put read only for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Oh, so
so somebody
someone's
was
just.
messing around with it.
I know.
Resolution 1819177, approval of monetary
I'll
gift,
find out.
$10,000 from Ted and Grace Blocker Foundation for high school challenge day, be the change initiative.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Joe, second by Ron.
That's a very significant gift.
I don't think it, does it cost that much? Or is it
Yes,
just- It does.
absolutely.
Back, you see.
So
I
in the
got this.
past, we,
I put it back up there.
so in the past, we've sponsored part of it.
Correct. So what's happened is, since I've been here, I've heard about the cost of Be the Change for 3 years. So we had an opportunity to apply for the safety grant, the second round, and we seized the day. So Be the Change is funded fully by the safety grant for the state of Wisconsin this year and next. In the meantime, I talked to Deb, the advisor, and said, hey, I would still recommend that you continue to do your fundraising annually so that you can build up a kitty to help to support that. Because that's a very large amount. So Be the Change is a specific program. It is a state-approved program also, as far as the safety grant goes, where they just didn't apply for anything. You had to be on their list. So all of the expenses for Be the Change had to be in alignment with the grant. So the good news is we have it covered for this year. There was no contribution from the Board of Education this year, and there won't need to be one next year. So this is to go above and beyond to help to offset the cost. So that what happens is the safety grant goes and oops, emergency. So this is teeing it up so that we're set for a while, which is good.
Any questions on this generous gift? Joe?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0.
I know it was a little tough to get things, gifts this year because they give $1 million for the
Yeah.
library.
Resolution 1819-178, approval of board canvassers. Be Dave Oganoff, Angie Van Beek, and Carol Wellner for the April 2nd election. So, motion by Nora,
Second.
second by Dick. Any questions on this group to be the canvassers for the election? Nora?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819-179, approval of volunteer co-curricular coaching contract for middle school wrestling for Robert Goldner.
So moved.
Motion by Norm, seconded by?
Second.
Who was first?
Norm. Anybody speak to this?
Well,
No, Mr. Goldner?
and right now, I just verified Janet completed the necessary background check. It is a volunteer position, so when he's there, he's still with a head coach, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And their season is different than the winter
Right.
season, so this is coming up.
Any questions on this contract, volunteer contract? Norm?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819-180, approval of out-of-state field trip, high school band, New York for March 18th to 25th of the year 2020.
When is the event?
When?
And what?
All right.
Here, first,
When
let's,
there's a-
the motion for approval.
Oh, so moved.
Motion by Jim,
Second.
seconded by Joe. Okay.
All right, I can speak to it, and if I don't do a solid enough job, you just table it and put it on the next meeting agenda, okay? So, all right, Mr. Cooney, our band instructor, is requesting approval for out-of-state travel, and this is performance travel, so it's not, they're just not going to New York City to hang out. It actually includes some performances and working in a clinic format, just like our choir students did when they went out to San Francisco. And they had a phenomenal experience out there. So there's no flights on this one. This is 2 buses. So he's recommending, he believes it'll be 75 students. And you know what, I can do this for the audience here. Okay, so you can see that there's an extended field trip form that they submitted, so you have that in your packet. So some of the information I'm going to refer to and summarize right now. Okay, so it's 2 buses, 75 students, March 18th through the 25th. Our spring break next year is March 14th through the 22nd. So actually, to me as an administrator, that works out well. They're only missing 3 days of school in order to do that. Cost per student is $13.95, the cost per adult is $16.79. There is fundraising that occurs. The fundraising is not to pay for the volunteers. The volunteer chaperones do pay for their own. The fundraising helps to offset the cost of the trip. So that is an all-encompassing fee, and to go to New York City to have this experience, that's a good deal. So there are 2 staff members that are going to be representing Mayville School District with 24 additional volunteers. The company that's organizing the trip is called Bob Rogers Travel. You can Google Bob Rogers Travel and you can actually see information about this specific trip too. So they provide a tour guide and they also provide a contracted security service for nighttime. So the security guard doesn't come with you everywhere you go. The security is working the night shift so that the volunteers can sleep and not have to worry about it. So the itinerary includes a Broadway show, headed out to museums, guided city tour with food, visits of the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, getting to the Rockefeller Center, that's free, it's just part of the sea, and then riding a subway. I believe it includes not only a Broadway show, but it may also include the opera show, the Philharmonic, the Metropolitan Opera. So it gave some different options there. And then the students perform. They perform, they may have a Broadway classroom workshop, they may perform at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. It gave us a whole list of opportunities where they're going to perform. I think those are all still kind of TBD. One could even be Trump Tower for that matter, as far as where the performance is, and the clinics. So it gave like a list of like 25 different locations for that.
It's all pretty close what you just named
So,
out there.
yeah, it's all right. So they're going to get to a small area, and that's how they can do so much and see as much because it's New York City. They're not getting on a train and headed out. They're just literally in the hub of downtown New York. So they take a bus there and take a bus back. So they do cross state lines and they need board approval.
And so the school district is planning to pay a
Pays nothing.
$13.95? Pays nothing.
Right, it's all student paid. They, you know, the band parents was working with students who do a lot of fundraising to help support things.
Okay.
So this is one of those areas, knowing now they'll help to fundraise to offset some of the costs.
Yeah, we'll have a year to do.
Down here to fundraise to.
Yeah, that's what it's
And the
gonna be.
adults are on their own, see, it used to be that everybody got.
I think the two staff members,
Oh, yeah, right.
that's the only thing covered. The volunteers are all the ones that are paid.
Having had 3 kids go through similar stuff like this through their high school years, it's a well worth trip. The kids come back with a lot of knowledge, a lot of good memories, and a lot of training. The kids, they really do well when they come back.
And they're tired.
Oh, very tired, very tired. But it is all funded by the parents.
And they're not that far from the 9/11 deal too.
No, I'm sure.
That's all right in that area. So is the cathedral, so the shows. You could even walk from.
The only time I've ever been concerned with travel is when it's left the country and the locations. If you put in a search and it has like a warning, then I wouldn't even bring it here. You know, no way. So this is an exciting time, and if there's for some reason travel watches and that kind of stuff, it would come to you in advance and be discussed again.
But they're not gonna be there that long, right?
It's like
18th or 25th or 23rd?
Through 25th.
That's one.
Oh, okay, that's quite a difference.
Yeah. So 2 days of travel and 5 days to be there.
Any questions on this field trip? Jim?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819181, approval to hire Michelle Teen, part-time special education paraprofessional at high school. Motion by Nora, seconded by
Second.
Okay.
Right?
This position is a result of one of our staff members requesting to go like part-time. And the decision was made with the high school faculty and the new director that really doesn't provide a lot of stability then for the program. So we have a vacancy, and that was good. And the person going part-time is going to get on our sub list and everything's fine. So in the meantime, now we have a vacancy and now we're filling it. And the position, we've decided that $12.50 is the start. This person has no experience working in special education, working with students, so the recommendation was $12.75 for the hire.
Any questions on this approval to hire? Nor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Any old business? Additional citizen comments? Announcements?
I'm just gonna comment, I don't know if anybody watched the girls' state basketball tournament,
Oh, yeah.
but our neighboring school girls were just immensely, terribly impressive girls' basketball team.
Go, beaver
I
down.
have never seen girls play that kind of game and be that good at it. It just, it was really something. They just dominated everybody they played the whole year. The boys' tournament was good.
Yeah.
And for a change, they were quite competitive games.
I think the away team looked like a Division I college.
Yeah.
6'9", 6'9", 6'7" front line. Jeez.
Wow. You know, one of our graduates from Mayville High School does the video stuff at the girls at the rec center.
John Nedelbaum, former coach,
Right,
does quite a few of the
right. He used
color
to teach here.
commentary.
He does it very well.
Nice job.
Yeah. He's still down at Oregon, I think. Where is that? Teaching down there?
You're right, yeah, yes.
And Laconia boys were in the semifinals.
Waupun.
And Waupun met their match.
Yeah.
So did Sun Prairie.
There's a lot of good talent down
Well, Oshkosh Lords, their coach was a big, in the flyweight conference,
Yeah.
Brad Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, good kid.
Now, the team that beat Sun Prairie was, man, I've never seen anybody shoot so many three-pointers. Yes, like they couldn't miss.
Push that linebacker. Fifth graders up there pounding them in, and that is no problem.
Nothing else? Meeting's adjourned.